I'll be fine.
All right. Would you please tell this court and the jury your full name and spell it?
Daphne Jessup, D-A.
And talk into the microphone.
D-A-P-H-N-E Jessup.
Are you any relation to Natalie Cochran?
Yes, sir, I'm her mother.
And you're appearing here on her behalf, is that right?
Absolutely.
Would you please tell this jury what kind of a person Natalie is and was to you, and why they should consider granting her mercy?
Yes, sir. My husband and I didn't talk about what we were saying, but I did a little timeline. I thought that would help me stay focused today. But she was born to us late in life, and all the siblings were growing up and going, and she was still home with us. So there was the three of us, all through childhood.
Ma'am,
Yes.
if you would,
No.
slowly. So I want the jury to hear everything you have to say. Thank you.
All through childhood, she did terrific in school. There was never a problem. And I don't want to be funny, but the only problem I had with her in second grade, over half of her classroom got lice, and she was one of them. And so with her curly, tight hair, I had a hard time with her. That's the only thing. She was a wonderful child. She was active in cheerleading, music. Oh, she's talented. She can sing. She can play the piano. It embarrasses her too, and she gets nervous, so she seldom does it. But I think she'd probably go to Nashville. She'd sing at church and things. But always a joy. And like others said, her aunt would give all the kids a good bit of money at Christmas. She always took half of hers and gave it to others. And that's in childhood. And then in high school, it was the same way. She didn't date very much. She worked. She didn't have to work. But she wanted to work, and she worked at a sporting goods store. And that's where she met Michael. And they were 18 when he came to our house. And he became like a son to us. I made notes. I don't want to forget anything. But
Yes, ma'am. And I just want to clarify those notes.
yes, sir.
Those are your notes.
Yes, sir.
To refresh your memory.
Yes, sir.
Nobody else made them. Nobody else told you to write them down. Is that right?
No, sir.
Okay, go ahead, please.
So they dated, and then the summer after the 12th grade, I think it was, they graduated. Larry and I drove Michael other places to play summer baseball. He loved baseball. We stayed together in motels, Larry and Ashton, Michael, and then Natalie and myself.
Okay, just a little slower. I know you want to get it all out, and I want to hear it. I know the jury wants to hear it, so just, slow it down a little bit. Thank you.
So then college came, and after the first year of college, they were married. When they had the wedding, her professor had a band, a bluegrass band, and he brought his band down, and they played Civil War music for the wedding. We had it outdoors, and Michael wasn't real close to his dad at that time, his biological dad. But his dad came with his stepmother, and her name was Dream, I believe. They helped me. We painted. We did yard work. We put down mulch. And they were in his life at that time. After they were married, Dreama and Mike gave him a cruise for a wedding present. So we took care of the wedding. His daddy and stepmother took care of their honeymoon. When they came back, we bought him it was a nice trailer, a dentist had it, and we added patio and a porch to it. We made sure they had a car. We helped them to school all we could.
Okay. Did Natalie and Michael have much money at that time?
No, sir. She worked 3 jobs. At times she was working 3 of them. Michael tried, but Michael had a different temperament, and that's him, and that's fine. And he just couldn't work with public. Sometimes he would work at the school gym and get paid, helping people to exercise. He loved bodybuilding, so that was perfect for him. But she worked at different places to make money, and we tried to help. when they graduated, and before we took them on vacations with us, we did everything we could for the kids. We loved them and we were close. They moved to Tennessee for a little bit, and that's where Nikki was born, and I was there with Michael when a few hours after she was born. I stayed with them to help them. They came to live at our house and wanted to remodel the old house. So the men worked, and we think sometimes Michael was like married to my husband. He loved him so much. They hunted, they fished, they built on the house. Larry taught him electrical work and carpentry, because my husband had to do all that on 2 houses we built. So they worked every time they were able, weekends, holidays, after hours of work. Natalie would work extra shifts. She worked as a pharmacist in Oak Hill at that time, driving to CVS. I would keep the baby when I got home from teaching. And then they moved in their house, and here came Ashton. So now we're a family of 6, the 4 of them and the 2 of us. Again, vacations, holidays, moving in the house. And I retired when Ashton was born so that I could be their babysitter. I just don't want to leave anything out that I wanted to tell you.
Hold just a
Okay.
moment. Okay. If you would, as to Natalie and Michael's son, would you just refer to him as their son and not name him?
Yes, sir.
Because
Yes, sir.
he's a minor.
Yes,
Okay?
sir. Yes,
All
sir.
right. Please go ahead.
So we start going to on trips. We eat out. We do a lot of things as a family. And my husband's still working, so at this time, Michael and him take a few holidays. And Michael always, I think we were very close, and the kids said he loved me. I thought he did. I wouldn't know for sure. He never said he loved me, but he'd always say, "Daphne, you're going with us." And he was the domineering figure in the family, but Natalie didn't mind. I didn't mind. So I'd go with them while my husband stayed here and worked. I'd go on holidays with them. And I'd offer to stay in the room and take care of the kids at night so they could go to a dinner or something. He'd say, "No, you're going with us. I want you to go to this steakhouse." He always took care of me. He'd do anything he could for me, and I'd do anything I could for Michael.
Okay, slow down a little bit.
Well, it broke our heart when he left this world. Our last trip was in the summer before Michael passed away, and we went to Ocracoke Island. The men fished, and we sat aside. We played in the water. They did the boards on the waves. It was a wonderful week, and Michael had a golf cart, and he got me a golf cart, and we'd ride the others around because that was fun for this person. But Michael was sleeping more and more. Even in the car on the ferry, he'd fall asleep. He wasn't staying awake much, and he'd hold his head a lot. He was sick. When we came home, there was foods he liked to eat, and he had asked me to cook, and he'd come after work. He liked breakfast foods in the evening, all breakfast foods at one time, and I'd fix it, and then he'd have to lay on the couch. He thought it was green mold that was making him sick. He was working in a house.
Ma'am, I don't want
Okay.
you to go into the case in chief.
Okay.
I want you to talk about Natalie's character, etc. We're not here to relitigate the case, okay?
Okay. I didn't want to bring the case up. No, sir.
Okay.
But
Thank
I was
you.
just telling you, I just wanted everybody to know that Michael and I had a good relationship. The kids did everything they could for me. Natalie helped me with my ministry, so did Michael. I was always all about kids. I love children of all colors, all sizes, and I've helped children and families in 45 countries. Michael helped me furnish, and Natalie, they helped me furnish seed in Zambia for Matambo Village.
I'm sorry. Could you clarify that a little bit? What are you talking about?
Well, in Matambo Village is one of my favorite villages in Africa, and I've been there twice. They plant things like corn, tomatoes, cabbages. The government buys it, and then the government didn't give them money one time, and they couldn't buy seed.
Who is they? Who are you referring to?
The Zambians under Pastor Mukatasha lives there. It's a village of
Okay.
in Africa.
All right, go ahead.
So we bought sacks of seeds. It was a total of $5,000 for all the seed for the village, and I had every kid there a mattress and a blanket. They were $81 for a mattress and a blanket.
Okay, when you say we bought this, who are you talking about?
Well, I have a ministry, and it's under the church. Other churches and people support me. It's all these people, we work together.
Okay, I want you to concentrate on Natalie.
Okay, well, that's what I said. Natalie and Michael gave me $5,000 one Christmas, and we finished getting every child in that village a blanket and a mattress, because it gets down to 40 degrees at night there, and some of them get close to fires and they burn.
Okay, let's skip ahead over that. So you're talking about Natalie and possibly Michael giving you money to help this village in Africa.
Yes.
Okay.
They also bought playground equipment for the school in that little village.
Okay. And when you say they, you're talking about
Michael
Natalie.
and Natalie.
Okay. Anything else?
Let me look through my notes if you don't mind real
Sure.
quick.
Go ahead, take your time.
I wasn't able to be here during some of the trial because they thought I might be a rebuttal witness or something, so I don't know what was said and done. But it bothered me when I came back and there was a picture of Michael on the floor. No one ever explained why he was there, but I knew why. People said, take a picture the next time he passes out.
Okay, ma'am, again, we're not
Can't say that.
relitigating the case. We're talking about Natalie's character and why this jury should consider granting her mercy. So we don't want to relitigate the case, okay?
I'll just mention that then I begged for mercy. I don't know how to beg from you. My children, my grandchildren, they need their mother. Larry and I probably won't be here much longer at our age. If she's gone that long, we'll probably never get a hold of her again. But maybe her children can if you give us some mercy. And it's funny that Larry used hope, Penny used hope, and that's what I had in my notes. We need hope. We just need maybe the morrow's coming where she can look forward to something. And about her character, can I mention what she's done in the prisons?
Yes, yes, you can.
She's written one devotional book, and it's being used a lot.
And for the record, you're showing that devotional book?
Yes, sir. This is her devotional book, and her daughter, Nikki, on the back did all the reflection pages. If you have journal writing in the prisons, federal prisons, you can have a book like this if it's for journaling and for religious reasons. So there's 2 reasons these girls get to keep these. And it helps inmates. It's Natalie's inner feelings about being there, things that she faced outside, inside. These girls relate to it. There's no one else that can relate like this girl does. And I hope God doesn't keep her there forever.
And you're pointing to Natalie, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't want God to keep her in prison forever, but she's a prison ministry person. And it's called the dandelion ministry, because even a dandelion will grow through concrete. I have my own ministry called Sowing for Souls, but I've also adopted this ministry. And I'm going to do all I can. I'm already doing things for inmates, and so is she. We get books, we get Bibles, we get clothes for them. Some of these girls have 0 people. They were raised on the street. Nobody knows the heartache these girls inmates in prisons go through.
Okay, I just want to interrupt you a little bit. You're talking about things Natalie has been doing in prison, both in the federal prison and possibly the Southern Regional Jail.
You know, I think there was about 30 some of these books at Southern Regional, and a girl came out there the other day and told Natalie she had been in a drug rehab in Charleston. She said, they're using your book down there. The second book's at the publishers are on its way. I finished typing and doing things. It's been sent out. But she makes such a difference. She's worked for administration.
And again, you're talking about Natalie.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Natalie's worked for administration. She works as the barista at the prison that's serving the guards and people at Starbucks Coffee. She trains people to do that out on the streets once they're released.
And this is while she's been in prison?
Incarcerated, yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay.
I didn't think she would live there. She's never struck a kid. She's never struck her pets or anything. She's soft-voiced, and we all thought somebody will kill her. She's been in some situations, but there's always been someone to look after her. She does not know the difference in the color of people, and I don't either. She does not notice the difference in sizes of people, and they know that. A woman wrote me and said as soon as she walked in the prison, they knew there was a difference there, a light, and she is a light, and that's what she's been to me. She's a light. And whenever I need something, she'll say, "Mommy, I'm fine. Don't worry, I'm fine." And so when I know she says fine, I know she's not really fine. She's just trying to keep me from being upset.
And again, you're talking about your
Natalie,
conversations
my
with
daughter.
you're talking about conversations with Natalie
Mm-hmm.
in prison,
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir. And we've run across so many good people. There are so many ugly people out there, how they treat others. But in her path, there have been so many good people, administrators and all that have helped. And I don't know if I can say it in court. No one would give her heart medicine at Southern Regional. She was so sick. Senator Roberts helped me to get medicine for her. At the federal prison, people here didn't even sin that she had had heart surgery or heart problems. They didn't know, and they wouldn't give her anything. They wouldn't listen to Senator Roberts because he stayed.
Okay, I need to interrupt you here. When you say they, are you
The
talking?
administrators.
Hold on, let me ask my question. Are you saying the prison's personnel are not giving Natalie adequate medical treatment? Is that what you're saying?
They are now. They are now, thanks to Representative Carol Miller.
Let's not go into
Okay.
side names and issues.
Okay.
So you're concerned for Natalie's health while she's in prison. Would that be a fair statement?
Oh, yes, because every time she's drugged down here, she misses her heart appointments because they keep putting them out, and you never know when you have an appointment. They just come and get you sometime at 6:30 in the morning and say, "It's your appointment, let's go to Morgantown." But she hasn't had her heart looked at or some other problems. You look at her teeth. One tooth is falling out. Her gums turn black. She can't get dental help. I beg for things like that, and I'll work for it. I'm not an advocate. I'm not a good speaker. You can
Okay,
see that.
Okay, let's, again, we don't want to get confused in side issues and names, but you're telling this jury about Natalie's neglect and improper care in prison. Is that what you're summarizing?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. How old are you, ma'am?
77.
So, like your husband, even if this jury gives Natalie mercy, you may not be alive when she gets out, possibly in 15 years.
I don't look for that. My mother lived to be over 100, but I don't feel like I can.
Okay. So you're hopeful that Natalie might get out and you might be able to spend more time with her. Is that correct?
I'd love to be able to spend. I want to hug her. And the bailiff here's let me give her a couple of hugs, but I want to just hold her for a long time.
Okay. Now, this jury's already decided that Natalie has killed her husband, Michael. And you've talked about your close relationship with Michael, your husband's close relationship. Given that they've already made that decision, do you think Natalie should have the opportunity to be paroled in 15 years or more and have the opportunity to get out of prison even though they found she killed Michael?
I do. I beg. I don't know what else I can say except please give mercy to her. It won't be for me probably, but be for her and her children and grandchildren someday.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yep.
Cross-examination.
Thank you. Ms. Jessup, how many years did you teach
30 years.
in Raleigh County?
Yes, sir.
What did you teach?
Elementary school mostly.
Wow, 30 years. Was Mr. Jessup a teacher too?
My husband,
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Again, I'm having some trouble hearing the prosecutor.
Was Mr. Jessup a teacher too?
no, he worked at the Board of Education in accounting.
Oh, he did. He
He was assistant down there to the main accountant.
Does he have a degree in accounting?
That was his major in school. And he was also a state tax examiner at one time. I think he wrote maybe the manual for that. At one time, I don't know if they still use the manual or not.
The defendant has a degree in pharmacy, correct?
She's a doctor of pharmacy.
So it's beyond just graduating from pharmacy school. She did something else?
Well, I think they put more title to it, more courses or something. Used to be you could be a pharmacist without having that doctorate degree, but it's more years or something at her time when she graduated.
And then she went on to get an MBA, right?
Access Health paid for that. And I went with her to take tests and things in Morgantown and stayed with her while she did group work with other people working on that degree.
As a teacher, you must have been ecstatic that your daughter did so well academically.
All of my children have done well. We strive to do well in school.
Now, did you and Mr. Jessup provide the financial aid for the defendant to go to pharmacy school?
We did all we could, but she worked, and I think they had some grants, because I had to put 4 through college. And
I'm sorry, you had to do what?
We had to put 4 children through college, and then we were helping Michael and Natalie together as much as we could financially.
You were also a victim of the Ponzi scheme, were you not?
I was not a victim of the Ponzi scheme.
So you and your husband didn't invest with the defendant in the
I
contract?
invested, I gave money to Michael's company at the time, $226. I knew what I was doing. I was investing.
$226 is all you had?
$226,000.
$226,000.
Or more.
$1,000, okay.
Thousands.
And you didn't get that money back?
No, all the money was seized and taken and sealed. We do not know how much money was in their accounts. We do not know how much money was in the company. No one investigated to see if this was maybe a scam on the kids. The kids would never hurt me. Michael and Natalie would never do anything to hurt us. Something's wrong, but no one investigated.
Didn't you file a claim as part of the federal restitution?
My husband took care of that but I think they didn't think we were victims. We're not victims. We'll never get any money back. Natalie asked the government to consider us victims. They said no. We tried to buy, if I'm doing something wrong, you tell me. We tried to buy Natalie's house for the children, put it in their name and our name. We offered, we could pay $320,000. We sold our house to do it. Michael's family fought us on that. At one time we were getting it, and then one judge backed out. They sold the house for $280,000 or $285,000, so the children don't have their home, they don't have their dad, they don't have their mom, they have 2 old people. And I'm so thankful for the other young folks that take care of the kids, teachers in Greenbrier County, principals. These kids can stay at their homes if there's ever snowstorms and things like that. That's why I said, you don't know the good people that have come out of this, the blessings we've seen from people.
And I gather by your discussion of times that you've been to Africa and helped people out and stuff that the defendant was raised in a very religious-oriented environment. Is that fair to say?
Yes, sir, but I think she's more spiritual than I am. I cannot write and speak like she can, and how to reach other people. I help children, but yet it multiplied. We put in wells, we feed people, schools. I built schools. Nobody knows just all the people that come forward throughout the United States. There's a man in Zambia watching every minute of this, Pastor Luca Tasha. I've got people in Burma and different countries that are praying for us around. One of them prayed around the clock a whole month, a big church.
But back to my question, you raised the defendant in a very Christian, religious-oriented home. Is that fair to say?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And since you've been involved with the defendant since she was put on this earth, right up into the present, where did things go off the track with her?
Well, if I overstep, you tell me to stop talking, because Michael was out of work. She was a pharmacist. He watched a movie called War Dogs, and I do not appreciate all the cursing, but he wanted me to watch it, so I watched it. He was going to do government contracts. In the movie, the two men go to prison for 20 years apiece or more. I think they're out now. And I begged him, I said, don't you do anything wrong. He said, I won't. And then he started to open it up to family, and I said, keep it in the family. I knew some of the family members involved. I did not know some of the doctors involved at the time and people like that. If he had kept it in the family, I think things would be fine, but it got outside. And I don't think Michael was doing anything illegal. I think Michael thought he was doing right. They were going to look in to see if it was a scam. But then they had Natalie. Can I tell the jury what she pled to? It wasn't a Ponzi scheme. The first thing, and I wrote the numbers down on the indictment, was number 6. She bought Michael a black car frame. It doesn't even have a motor. It was a Cobra, and that's called money laundering because it went across state lines or something. The motor came from somewhere else. They didn't do a thing about that. The other thing, her name was on the bank account. If my husband gets arrested, my name's on the account. I'll probably go too. And the same with the kids. If Michael were here, he and Natalie would both be in trouble, but maybe some help would come for them. Michael and Natalie loves us. They would never hurt us in any way.
You and Mr. Jessup had 4 children, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And they're all still alive?
Yes, sir.
Can you think how awful it would be to lose one of them?
We lost one. We lost Michael. He was like a son to us.
And from his mother's perspective, that would be as bad or worse than your loss. Is that fair to say?
No, sir. I don't think it's fair to say. I'd like to say something, but I've not been negative about his family, and I don't know if I can do that in court, so I probably shouldn't say anything.
Okay. Thank you. State has no further questions.
Anything further, Mr. Selden?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Jessup, you said, if I recall correctly, that you tried to more or less salvage the Cochran's home from being auctioned off. You made an offer of over $300,000, is that right?
Yes, sir.
You wanted to buy it back so the children would have a place to stay.
Yes, sir, and the federal prosecutor asked me to...
Please, just listen to my question, okay? Now, because you couldn't do that for whatever reason, okay, you said that now the children don't have a home anymore and have to depend on others. Is that what you said?
They have a home with me.
Okay.
If I could have bought their home, their names would have been on the deed with all 4 of our names would on it. The home I bought now just has my husband and my names on it.
Okay, so You wanted the children to have their original home back and not be dependent on you and others. Is that a fair statement?
Yes, sir. I want them to have their home.
Okay. And if I'm correct, and you correct me if I'm not, you said Michael didn't do anything wrong. Is that what you've said?
He was trying not to do anything wrong. Something may have
Okay.
happened.
You said you don't believe Michael did anything wrong, but did you? What about Natalie?
No, sir. Neither one.
Okay.
They would never do anything wrong or do anything to hurt us.
That's all, Your Honor.